We're going to start out today with a guest from Toronto. It is Vipool Desai. And Vipool has been a student of Dr. Pillai's for about 19 years now. He's the president and founder of ARA Compliance Support. And we are excited to hear from you, Vipool. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. I've been studying with Baba for, as you said, 19 years, and my life has changed in a very significant way. If you hopped in a time machine and went back to 1998 when I first met Baba, I don't think you would recognize me. I was working in a job. I was worried about losing my job. I was miserable in a toxic relationship, worried about money, and very stressed out. And what I would say about Baba's teachings is that they're very powerful. You're never going to get this kind of knowledge anywhere else taught to you in the way that it's taught. And I think that for folks who are studying with Baba, I think there's four pointers that I would give. Because there's a lot of folks who did really well with the programs and others who didn't. And I think the first really important step is to do the practices. And I know that sounds obvious, but what often happens is we're excited during phone calls and during events, and that excitement dissipates when we go back to our real lives, and you have to keep doing the practices during your mundane day-to-day existence. You've got to go back to your terrible apartment or bad relationship and still keep doing the practices. So that's a challenge. The second thing I would say is that you have to really fall in love with the mantras, with the deities, with the practices. To the extent that you're able to energize it with love and excitement, the stronger they're going to be. I know that Baba had a saying that you need God, but God needs you as well. And what he meant by that is that if you do not have love and excitement and passion for Ganesh and Lakshmi and Shreem Brzee, they're not going to exist. So you've got to be excited, and that's the bottom line. I think the third thing is really to take action in the real world. Shreem Brzee is a mantra for material wealth, and none of us are advanced to the stage where we can sit in the room, meditate, and have things appear out of thin air. You've got to engage in the world, and that might mean brushing up your resume and doing job interviews or putting a business plan together, but you've got to go out and engage the world. And there's a lot of folks who are drawn to Baba because they're drawn to Eastern philosophy and they want to be sitting in a room and meditating. And even though that may feel great, sometimes you have to step outside of your comfort zone and act. And what you'll find is as you do the practices and you're acting, you'll get intuitions, you'll get feelings, and things will come to you. And I think that's very important. And the last recommendation is really to look at yourself and see whether you're willing to change. Change is a very terrifying thing for a lot of people. If you change your life in a fundamental way, it won't just be your finances. You might change your friendships. You might change the city you're living in. You might change your job in a big way. It's almost like dying and being reborn, and you have to have the courage to do that. So that would be my perspective on it. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Those are such amazing key points. And from someone who's been in many of Dr. Pillai's programs, coming from you, that means a lot. And we have had people who have said, well, I've tried and it didn't work. So those key ingredients are very important. And can you just give us one solid example of how your life has changed from a financial standpoint? I know you have a great success story there.
Oh, sure, absolutely. So, well, actually, it's a few things. But shortly after I met Baba and started doing a lot of the practices, I lost my job, which may sound terrifying, but it actually started me on a great progression.
And not unlikely. Other people, that happens to other people, and then they get freaked out and then they stop. So great to hear that you didn't give up.
It was especially terrifying for me because I was married at the time. My spouse wasn't working. We had a small child. We had a mortgage. And I was the only source of income, and it disappeared, or was going to disappear in a few months. On top of that, the marriage was in trouble, and there was a lot of other issues. So it was the worst time to lose your job. But to be honest with you, it was great because it kind of forced me out into the world, to get me out of my meditation room and start using Shreem Brzee in the real world. And so that moved me towards consulting on my own. And I was quite amazed at how well that proceeded. And then about 10 years ago, I got the vision of starting a business, hiring other people and offering something called an ongoing support program to independent businesses. And so now I have about 32, 33 of those clients on my platform. I've got a great profile in the industry, and I'm pretty well known. So um, that's not a quick miracle. I think the best things in life are not the quick miracles. They're the miracles that you work on and you achieve over time. And I would say being where I am now, being financially secure, and it's a great business, by the way. I got rid of my office a couple of years ago, so myself and the rest of the staff, they all work from home, and we enjoy our lives, and we make good money and we have fun. So that would be the miracle.